Anyways, getting into the playoffs here, we've got two games Saturday. Your first game of the day is going to be 3:30, played on Fox. It is in Carolina, and you have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to face the Carolina Panthers here. You have the Rams are favored by 10.5 points here. Over under is 46.5. This Panthers barely snuck in. They've really had a pretty poor second half of the season for them, and it's been really tough. If you look at their last five games, lost to Tampa, lost to Seattle, beat Tampa, lost to New Orleans, and then they actually beat the Rams in back on November 30th. So they do have a win against the Rams within the last 60 days, 45 days, I guess. But man, I don't see Los Angeles coming out here. They come out, they feed the ball to Corum, and they feed it to uh, Williams, and yeah, Kyron Williams. I forgot his name. Puka is going to continue to do what Puka does. Is there any update on Devonte Adams? That's the one thing
Yeah,
I
he's
forgot to
playing.
look. He is going to play. So Devonte Adams back. You get a big receiver that is a red zone, target machine. He didn't play in that game last time. He's not going to be the downfield burner that he once was, but he just gives you that red zone option. Makes you not focus on Puka so much. This is an easy one for me. I don't trust Carolina whatsoever. I'd take the 10.5 points. I'd take the over, and I would take the Rams. So, yep.
Yeah, give me the Rams. Give me them to cover. The Panthers, hell of a turnaround from what they were. I mean, fantastic for them. But this is probably their one shining moment, and they're going to go back to obscurity for the rest of forever.
The second game of that Saturday, you have a NFC North showdown between the Packers and Bears. Now, these two teams have played each other. Oh gosh, this is going to be the third time that they've played each other in the last month. So a lot of familiarity with them. I say month, 33 days ish is really they played December 7th, they played December 20th, and then it's going to be January 10th the next time they played. So they've played each other a lot. There was a split here between the two. The Packers won the first game 28-21, and then Chicago won the next game 22-16 in overtime, where they made that comeback. The Bears have been needing to do a lot of that here recently. The Packers are on a four-game losing streak right now. They have had it tough offensively and have not been able to get that turned around. Jordan Love's been in concussion protocol. He's come out of it. He's going to play this week. Josh Jacobs has not been the running back that he was at the beginning of the week and the years before. And the Bears are kind of a little opposite here. They're 2-3 in their last five games. Obviously, they lost to Green Bay once. They dominated Cleveland beat Green Bay. They lost the shootout to San Francisco, which came down to the very end. And then this past weekend, they came down back from 16 down and still lost 19-16 there. So they had a little bit of an offensive struggle, but they've been able to click it together. They played all their starters in Week 18 because they didn't want that rust to build up. So the matchup here, the predictor here, they've got Green Bay is the favorite. You have the Packers favored by 1.5 points, and you have over under at 45.5.
What's
So,
the weather like? What's the prediction?
oh, the weather here that they are predicting it to be 32 degrees and cloudy. So,
And it's in Chicago, correct?
yes, it is in Chicago, Soldier Field. Chicago is the number two seed, so they'll have home field advantage unless they play Seattle, which if they did, that'd be in the championship.
Ooh, This is an easy one for me.
Yeah,
I'm
go
going
for
with
it.
the Bears.
Yeah,
The Packers being on what, a four-game losing streak? Is that what you said?
yes, yep.
A four-game slide. They haven't had their quarterback for probably all four of those games, the majority of it, and they lost Micah Parsons, which was what was making everybody think they were Super Bowl bound after the second week, and they just haven't looked the same. They haven't really gelled for an extended period of time all year. And this Bears team, even though they've kind of been up and down a little bit here towards the end, they've gone through a period where they've looked consistent. And even in some of these losses, they look like they have all the makings of a good team. So give me the Bears in this one. I think they just come out and take care of business. Ben
Yeah,
Johnson will have it all dialed up. I am not impressed in the slightest, even with Micah Parsons with what that Packers defense does.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, give me the Bears as well here. You know, I don't like a lot of these teams that have been really rusty, and we'll talk about that with the Eagles too. Sit their starters on week 18. Yeah, obviously you start your guys, and then they go out there and they get rolled up on or whatever in a meaningless game. But you're on a 4 game or at that point 3 game losing streak. You go in, you only score 3 points on literally a last second field goal. You got to get something going there. And you can't just you hear, and it's me saying it, oh, you don't know this, but you hear it talked about all the time. You can't just, flip of a switch, turn your offense back on. That's not how it works, right? Timing's off, all that kind of stuff. Your quarterback hasn't been playing for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever that is. So yeah, give me the Bears. I agree. I think it's just more of a Ben Johnson thing here that just trust him in the scheme that he'll bring up. Take the I would probably, this one's really interesting. I'd take the Bears. I don't know if I'd take the over in this one though. It's 45.5. That one would be a
Mm.
really tough one for me because I just don't see, like, I think it's more of like a 28-13 kind of game, maybe somewhere in there. So I don't think I would take the over though.
I'd
If I
take
was,
the under.
yeah. So um the only way the over goes, I think, is really if the Bears just put it on them.
And then
So
it's a divisional matchup too. Those always seem like
yeah.
low scoring affairs.
Correct. I mean, they had 21, they had 28-21, and they had 22-26. So both times, or the one time they scored under and the first time they scored over. So they put it right there, dab in the middle. So good job, Vegas. Going into Sunday, our first matchup, probably one of the most intriguing matchups that really caught my eye. You have the Bills headed down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. This is a 12 o'clock start on CBS. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, whoever loses this game, there's going to be a lot of talk about these guys and what they bring as a franchise. They're going to be failed seasons, even though the Jaguars have a 13 win. The Bills finished with another 12-win season. Man, this is Josh Allen's, you know, there's no excuse to not make the Super Bowl this time, right? No Lamar, no Patrick Mahomes,
No Joe Burrow.
no Joe Burrow. Now, the Lamar thing hasn't really mattered. People are saying that, but Josh is really, he's beat him in the playoffs every time. So, but no Mahomes, no Burrow. That's the big deal there. So, what can happen? Everybody's been waiting for Trevor Lawrence to step up and really take this Jaguar team past this. So, there's a lot riding on here other than just a wild card game. There's reputation, there's legacy, all that kind of stuff. You have the Bills favored by 1.5 here. Your over under is 52.5. These past couple games, the Bills they're 4-1 in the past 5 games. Their only loss came to Philadelphia, 13-12, which they should have won that football game. They didn't convert on their last 2 point conversion, so they lost. And then the Jaguars on at least a 5 game win streak. I think it's even longer than that 5 game win streak. If I go back here, so you got 8 game win streak here going into this contest. So. And every one of those games, they've scored at least 25 points. So they're putting a lot of numbers on the board. They're moving the ball around. They've been a really fun and explosive offense. It comes down to me. I don't trust Jacksonville, but I feel like I can trust Liam Cohen a little bit to at least put a really good offensive game plan to where they're gonna score points and they're not gonna get completely shut down. Can they figure out a way to control James Cook? That's the biggest deal. It seems like if they can figure out that way to slow down James Cook specifically, Josh Allen's having to make a lot of plays by himself, and there's not a lot of help outside of that to really expand that offense. So Jacksonville's defense has been really good this year. They've really been able to get after the passer, control a lot of things. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna take Jacksonville in this one. It's hard to pick against Josh Allen, but I think Jacksonville is the more complete team here, and I think they're gonna win by. I would probably take 3 points here, and I would take the over on the 52.5. So,
Did these teams play once before in the regular season? I think they did, didn't they?
that's a good question. I don't know. Um,
I think it was the AFC East and the matchup with the
I don't see it
AFC
on.
South.
I don't see any Bills Jaguars. I don't think they did.
No.
Nope. No.
Mm. I don't love that the Bills seem one dimensional and it relies heavily on the run, but to that same token, teams have had a very tough time stopping them. Jacksonville, I just don't trust. I don't know, something about Jacksonville just in general, I just don't trust, even though they've put a very good product out for the last 8 weeks and they are humming. I mean, they've been taking care of business. They've blown some of those teams out. Sure, they were probably not the toughest of opponents, but they're headed in the right direction. It's going to come down to quarterback play, I think, is what this one's going to be. And when I look at Trevor Lawrence and I look at Josh Allen and what they've done as a whole, I trust Josh Allen a lot more than I do Trevor Lawrence. And I think if the Bills win this one, there's no reason they don't make it to the Super Bowl. So give me the Bills to win this one and make their first Super Bowl appearance in a long time.
Very nice. Very nice. Uh,
As far as
yes.
covering, what'd you say the spread was? One and a
Just
half?
1.5. Yeah.
Okay, they cover and the I'll take the over.
Yep. I'll take the over too. I think there's gonna be a lot of points on the board here. So I think it's like a 35-31 kind of game, something like that. So for sure. Second game of Sunday is the 49ers traveling completely across country to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. This is a 3:30 game on Fox. Big matchup here that has been a consistent throughout the playoffs the last couple years. It seems like you have the Eagles are favored by 3 points here, over under 44.5 points here. This comes back to, for me, the Eagles and their offensive inconsistency that they've had. They're 3-2 in their last 5 games. They lost an overtime game to Los Angeles, the Chargers, and then they lost to Washington this past weekend, but they didn't play any starters. They've they haven't played stiff competition over the past 5 games either really just Los Angeles and then Buffalo. The they played Washington twice, and then they played Las Vegas as well, which Las Vegas has been terrible. On the flip side of this, San Francisco's been really hot. They've won 4 out of 1. They put that dud up against Seattle here recently, which is really concerning when you think about it. I think this Eagles defense is more talented than the Seattle defense. Maybe if you match them up talent for talent, you can make an argument one way or the other, but I think it's a more complete defense. Obviously, they've been there. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. I think they're a little more physical. They can control that line of scrimmage in the trench. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this San Francisco run offense against this Eagles run defense. It comes down to the back end for the Eagles. You talked about it, of San Francisco not really having a true number one wide receiver and relying on a lot of guys to run drag routes, cross routes, and through the middle. George Kittle needing to do these things. Brock Purdy has proven that he can make it happen, but that last game really worries me, where they threw that dud when there was so much on the line. You see what hat I'm wearing. I dislike both of these teams tremendously, tremendously. It's I really don't know which way to go here. I really don't, and it's not because I don't like these teams. It's just like either one could catch fire. I think that I'm just going to go with the proven commodity of McCaffrey and Purdy. San Francisco's getting a little healthier, especially on defense. I think they're getting a couple guys back. So I'm going to take the Niners in this one. I think it's a close game. I think it's a low scoring game. 21-18, somewhere in that, frame right there. That 44.5, I think, is pretty close to where that's going to be. So give me the Niners.
Okay, so if this comes down to the run game, I think the Niners have the edge. When you look at quarterback play, I still think the Niners have the edge. For me, the tilt towards the Eagles is on defense. Their secondary is better than the Niners by a good amount, and their defensive front is better than what the Niners have right now available. So you have a talented defense and a very shaky offense. They have not ran the ball the way they have in their past Super Bowl runs, at least for the duration of the season. They haven't, and they haven't really done it against stiffer competition. I think I want to go with the Niners also. It's been a weird year for the Eagles. I think their offensive coordinator probably gets canned if they lose this game.
Yep.
So I trust the Niners because Kyle Shanahan does a very consistent job of scheming stuff up. And as good as the Eagles defense is, I think he will come with a game plan. They haven't had a wide receiver one all year long, so that's not going to be a new problem for them. I think they figure out what to do, and the Niners win, relying heavily on Christian McCaffrey. And I expect George Kittle to have a big game. He's going to have a pretty big impact on this one.
Yes. Correct. All right. We agree there. That's scary. Hopefully that doesn't backfire on me for us agreeing. I know you could care less. It'd probably warm your heart a little bit to see the Eagles win again. Anyways, last game of Sunday Night Football. The Chargers are also making a cross-country trek here to go to Foxborough and take on the Patriots. This is a 7 o'clock game, NBC, Sunday Night Football, all that good stuff. You have the Patriots favored by 3.5 here. Over-under is at 46.5. Drake May, NFL MVP candidate. Justin Herbert, talked about as a generational talent. Almost a non-existent run game for the Chargers. A very good run game for the Patriots. Talented wide receiver cores. Defenses that have been suspect at times, but really good. The Patriots are coming in, winning 3 straight. They've won 4 of the last 5. And then the Chargers have dropped the last 2. They've been 3-2 over the last 5 games, but they lost a close game to Houston. Then they lost that game to Denver last week where they didn't play any of their starters. Their offense hasn't really had too many big issues scoring points over the last couple games. So a lot of it gets put on Justin Herbert. He has been the leading rusher in multiple games that we have recapped over this season. I just don't think the Chargers have enough playmakers, and it really comes down to the running back position to really take the pressure off Justin Herbert. Amari and Hampton he's had some really bright spots coming back from his injury, but it just seems like they haven't consistently, fed him the ball in that aspect. Keenan Allen makes big plays when he needs to. Lad McConkey makes a lot of big plays. They scheme really well. They do. John Harbaugh is a very physical coach and talks about doing the right things, and they do put a really good game plan together. But the Patriots on their side of the ball, they've been really great all year. Drake May's made plays with his arms, his legs. They've got some pretty good wide receivers on the outside. They have a couple different running backs, whether you're going to want to give it to Travion Henderson, Ramon Stevenson. They've been good on the defensive side. They've done really well. I think the place is going to be rocking. I don't trust the Chargers whatsoever. They just fold in big moments most of the time. So give me the Patriots. I think they cover. I'm going to take the over in this game on the 46.5. I think the Patriots put up at least 30 on their own. So at home, Sunday Night Football, it's going to be a big time thing. They haven't done this in 5 years. So, yep.
Yeah, I think when you get into the playoffs and you start talking about these teams that have separated themselves, the run game and a decent defense is typically what you see. Because when you get to playoff time, everybody gets back to the basics, and that's the run game and a solid defense. And I think when you look at these two teams, the Chargers have zero run game. I mean, I think that's going to be the Achilles tendon and the reason why they are bounced in the first round. And I think they go and fix it next year, but to say next year, the Patriots have put together a good product all year long. They've looked the part, aside from that one game against the Bills where, they had all the lights on them, the biggest moments. But I think they're ready to rock and roll. I think Coach Vrabes will have these boys humming, and it's a young talent. It's a young, talented team. It's a young core. I feel like they're going in the right direction, and I hate to say it, but I think New England's back to
Yeah.
prominence.
They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they'll beat the Chargers and move forward. So, yeah. So, um, You got them covering? Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens there. It's just hard to trust the Chargers. I don't know how many times we've come in here and talked about Justin Herbert being the lead rusher, and he's had 26 yards, something like that. So,
We've asked for them to get a running back all year long to figure out something on the ground, and they didn't do it. So
nope, been tough. So, anyways, moving on into the last game, which will be a Monday night football game, last Monday night of the season. I really dislike that they do this. It just seems like um, it's a true disadvantage for that team that has to turn around and go play. If you got to play a team that played Saturday versus you're playing Monday, that's just not right in my opinion. But whatever, money's in TV, so that's where it's going to be. ESPN, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. Maybe you'll have a Manning cast, who knows? But you have the Houston Texans traveling up to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Texans are favored by 2.5 here. The over/under is 39.5 in this game. So it is
surprised it's
going to
that
be
high.
yeah, I am too. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. ESPN Analytics has this at 54.5% for the Texans. Everybody saw it. The Steelers are coming off the big victory against the Ravens, where they won on a missed field goal. They've won 4 of their last 5. Their only loss came to Cleveland, 13-3. They played terrible. Outside of that game, they've scored at least 26 points in these last 5 games. So they've been able to put some points on the board against teams such as Detroit, Miami, and Baltimore. They played them twice. And the Texans on the other side have scored at least 20 points in their last 5 games, which have all been wins. After starting the season 0-3, they went on a 12-2 run here. And this win streak is, I did not calculate this before, but it is
I think it's
1,
10, isn't
2,
it?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game win streak. So 9 game win streak here that they've got going into this. They are going to turn it into 10. I really wish that Rodgers would be able to figure out how to move the ball. I don't trust them to do it. Now they're getting DK Metcalf back. He's coming back off suspension, so that's really going to help them on the outside. Gainwell's played really well. He's run the ball well. He's gotten the ball, do a lot of dink and dunk and get him the ball, and he's a really dynamic playmaker when he does have the ball in his hands. The Pittsburgh defense is going to give that Houston offense a lot of struggles, but just for some reason, I just feel like the biggest advantage here is that Texans defense. And you've seen times where the Steelers have really folded and come down. And this is not me having a full confidence in Houston either. I'm going back and forth. I really want to rather see Rodgers win and move on to the next and have that success because it probably is his last season. But I just feel like the Texans, they've got the better defense. Who are you going to pick?
I've been back and forth in this one because the Texans defense is so damn good that I think that it's so damn good that it's good enough to win games for them in the playoffs, especially this one. But my heart tells me Aaron Rodgers is just gonna pull some shit out of his ass and do enough to win this game at the very least. So I don't know. I've been back and forth on this one. My heart
It,
says the Steelers. My mind says the Texans. Uh,
This is just a Tomlin team, right? I mean, they do just enough to get into the playoffs, and then they shit the bed at the first round. But then you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and this is where Tomlin put it all his, basically put all the chips in the middle of the table and say, "This guy's going to get it past us." And can he do it? That's the thing. Can he do it?
I
Yeah,
think the problem for me is that this team is. Is my internet
but
messing up? You good?
it was a little bit, but go for it. Yeah,
Okay. I think my problem is that the Steelers team has had flashes where they look like they could be a Super Bowl contender, but it hasn't been consistent enough. And
that's the problem.
what the Texans defense has done has been very consistent. Even when they were losing games, that defense was still playing well. So if you look at consistency and you look at just that defense is so damn good. I mean,
Give
I
me
don't know. I
give
don't
me
know what
the
you pick. And I'll pick the
give
opposite.
me the Texans 20-13.
Give me the Steelers 20-13.
Okay, fair. Good enough. I wouldn't be upset if your pick won. Like I really wouldn't. But if I'm going to put money on this, I'm going to say Texans cover. They cover the spread. They go under on it, and yeah, 20-13 Texans. 100%.
I hope I'm right.
I say 100%. I'm not 100%. I'm like 50-50.
Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl in his last run?
That'd be great. Good for I would. I have no problem with the Steelers winning the
I
Super Bowl.
mean, Peyton Manning got to do it.
A long time ago, the Cowboys and the Steelers hated each other, but that was in the 70s, 50 years ago. So I guess one Super Bowl in the 90s, but whatever. I mean, do it. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. That'd be great. So,
I think every gunslinger's gotten his time in the sun as he exited. So except for
uh,
Tom Brady, he decided to stick around for another year. That was garbage. So he
I
should
mean,
have left after he
he
won that
wasn't
Super
really
Bowl.
a gunslinger, so to speak.
Well,
He wasn't
yeah. But
wasn't in that category. Kurt Warner got to go to the Super Bowl. Romo never got his moment in the sun.
no, Romo didn't. There's a reason for
Brett
that.
Favre got to go to the NFC Championship and get laid out by the bounty.
Hey,
Yeah,
how about that squad, huh?
yeah, that is
That was like
dirty,
that Texans defense, man.
dirty players, man. But yeah, those are the picks for Sunday.